going on, guys? Back again. So this video is going to be around books. So I had a really interesting year, I think, in 2017, and I was really into, maybe it's 2016, really into Tai Lopez and all this stuff, really reading a ton of books. I think I probably got through, I don't know, 100 books or something like that in that 1 year, and it was really transformational in terms of my progress. And just so much of, you know, nowadays is just the mental side. Everything else is at our fingertips. All the information, all the other things we need to fit that puzzle together is all a Google search away. And the only thing that really takes time to build is your mindset, which your mindset's going to be with you the rest of your life. So it's something worth investing in. So these are a few books that I found really impacted me, each with a specific kind of lesson I got from each one. So literally this one, top one here, was Digital Marketing, Deep Work by Newport. That was a lot about learning how to work fluently without distraction and actually get things done, because hustle and all this stuff has gotten bigger than ever nowadays and is such a commonly used word, but no one really knows what it means. Hustle just means you're working 12 hours a day, but how much are you getting done? So that was a really important book. Tools of Titans, this was really cool in terms of motivation, and just really gaining a larger perspective from a lot of kind of, people obviously who've had years and even decades of massive success already. And Ray Dalio, Principles, about building systems, a little bit about finance. This one was more about system building and architecture and stuff like that. So let's start in with Expert Secrets. This was with Russell Brunson. If you guys don't know who Russell Brunson is, he is the founder of ClickFunnels. He's done a bunch of other stuff, speaking. You might have seen him at the Grant Cardone 10X event. This book was amazing. Honestly, Russell is probably one of the coolest guys in terms of being an entrepreneur and doing what he does for the pure sake of loving it. ClickFunnels is probably one of the most amazing platforms I've used, and something I implement in my business a lot. I'm going to be doing actually a full tutorial on ClickFunnels, kind of how to use it, different ways to make income off it as well. But this book was amazing. Really, literally A to Z on not only funnels, but just sales and marketing, and putting all those things together and packaging it in a way to help more people. So yeah, if you're interested in either the digital marketing, or if you even have an idea that you just haven't really figured out how to manifest in the world, this would be a really powerful book in literally taking what's in your head and being able to turn it into a product or service that then you can share with people, and the systems and everything you need to essentially do that. So highly recommend this book. I might do some stuff in the description where to get this. I think this one you only have to pay shipping. It's like $7 or something like that. Yeah. So second one, Deep Work by Newport. In today's generation, one thing that we've never really had before is this level of distraction. It's literally insane. Like just the pure level of when you wake up in the morning, the amount of things that you could be doing and the amount of noise and distraction that is in your way is unbelievable. And the second you can break through that noise, you're literally getting ahead of probably 90% of the population. So this was really powerful. Actually, I think I got this from one of my mentors, Iman Gaji. He was really into this, and he's got his systems and structure and everything absolutely dialed in. Highly recommend you check him out. Yeah, so this was literally, so the human brain can only really focus for, I think it's 4 hours is an absolute maximum. So the fact, in this social hierarchy that we're living in, every, a work day is 8 hours long. And it starts to make sense why people, you just can't, you really don't get that much done in 8 hours. Like, in an 8-hour workday, you may be getting stuff done in 2 to 3 hours maybe, and when your mental focus is clear. After that, it just kind of becomes a wash. And this book was really powerful talking about that, because it really makes sense. I mean, if you give someone 10 years to build a house, and you give another person a year, say, to build a house, both people are gonna end up with a house. In just, the way things are done, when you give someone, it's like, homework and all this stuff back in high school, or just, procrastination in general on projects or whatever you're doing. Whatever the time limit you lay out for yourself is usually what you're gonna fill it in. So if you give yourself a month to clean the house, it'll take you a month. You might not do anything for 29 days, but you're still gonna get it done. If you give yourself 3 hours, you're probably gonna get just as much done, potentially even more done in that time frame, and then you're gonna have all that free time to do something else. So this book literally is really, really powerful in terms of how to design and set up your structure on a daily basis to get the things done that actually mean something. So what is it on your to-do list that's actually gonna move the needle to where you wanna go? So, if you want to be an entrepreneur and build a business, if you're spending 10 years thinking of an idea and you're not prioritizing any of the execution or other things, it's going to take you 100 years just to do one thing, when in reality, if you line it up and really, really get things done, there's a reason most people become a millionaire within 2 to 3 years after they really get something. Because when you're putting your head down and working every single day, the magic happens. But most people are just kind of, they'll work 2 to 3 days a week where they're getting things done, and then they'll hustle another 4 or 5 days a week when they're really not doing much. So really, really powerful book on structure, how to get the things done that matter the most, and also how to kind of know what those things are. So this book, Tools of Titans, it's huge, by Tim Ferris. Tim Ferris is probably one of my favorite authors. When I was younger, I used to read a lot of this. I used to study that guy, like everything he would do. Amazing mind. So this was cool. This was, I think this thing's probably, 700 pages or something like that. The most powerful part of this book was just every time you're reading a book, or at least for me, you'll usually get one thing out of it. So, you'll read 200 or 300 pages, and there's usually maybe a handful of pages that really speak to you where you're at in your life or your business or whatever you're doing, that, propel you forward. And this book is essentially a combination of a bunch of stuff. So he essentially takes everyone that he interviewed on his podcast, and he pretty much compiled all those summaries into this book. So every 2 to 3, 4 pages that featured one person usually had one nugget. So this book, I probably got more out of this than almost anything else I've read. And it was so cool, actually, when I was first building my personal training business when I was younger. I was waking up at, 6 a.m. every day. I would read this for about an hour a day before I journaled and meditated and all these things. And it was so cool. I was on such a progress, and I found the biggest thing reading did for me is it puts your head in the game at the start of the day. Because that is the hardest thing to do, is when you wake up, whether you had a bad sleep, whether you just not feeling motivated that day, whatever's on the to-do list, maybe it's not the things that you want to do the most. It's getting into the mindset of just get it done, get it done, get it done. And the longer you can stay in that window, the faster that success is going to come from you. So for me, reading 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, or even a page or something like that, it's usually enough just to ground your mind to start thinking what's important, what do I need to do today, and then the motivation to go get it done, sort of thing. So this book literally, I think, is something that you can kind of come back to multiple times over a year, 3 years, 10 years, and just read it, and you'll always kind of get something from it. So whenever you feel stuck or you feel like things aren't moving fast enough, there's so many amazing examples of other entrepreneurs and people like that who have gone through those exact same struggles, and it just totally grounds you in those situations and gives you kind of the support and the kind of perspective to push through those being stuck and use that as a platform to actually go even more forward, propel yourself forward. The last book, this thing's wicked. Ray Dalio, one of the most successful hedge fund managers in the world. I think he manages the most capital. I think it's, I don't know, 150 billion, 200 billion, something like that. Bridgewater Associates, I believe. Really amazing story. So this one was more on the family, I believe. So this was, yeah, so this was life and work principles. I think he's got another one coming out, economy and markets. So more, I thought this was originally going to be more on trading and stuff like that. Ended up being more kind of mindset and structure, which again is so important. And that's something the hustle stuff totally avoids. So when people say hustle, it's literally wake up at 6 a.m., go do anything and everything, and come home at midnight, and then do some more stuff till 2 in the morning, and then sleep 4 hours, and then get up and do it again. And most people are so busy, and they you know, nowadays everyone wears the whole busy thing on their shoulder like it's like a flag. But people are busier than ever, but they're really not getting that much done. And a lot of this book talks about was the actual how to you know, use structures and use thought process to actually manage solutions. One of the biggest things, he has an amazing story of his childhood and all that stuff, which is the first kind of probably quarter of this book. But one of the things he's done differently, and I think that one of the reasons he's gotten so successful, is the way he approaches situations and problems, and the quickness and the way he's able to get clarity and then strategically find solutions to any problem all day long, structurally and to a T. And literally, I think Sam Ovens did a little video on this, and it's you know, seeing a problem and tracing its back to its root and then fixing the root issue. Because most people, they see a problem and they see where the problem ends up. So if you know, our business isn't generating enough cash flow and we have a debt problem or something like that as the end issue, if you look at that, that's a lot harder to fix. If you fix that one issue at the very end with something else, chances are long term you're not going to be able to build on that. It's like fixing something in your house with you know, chopsticks and paper. You know, it's not going to fill the hole or whatever like cement and a proper foundation would. And then when you try and build on top of that again, you know, things won't really hold up, and then you're going to end up with all these other kind of micro problems. So something he talks about is, if that's the end problem, you go back and you go back and you go back, usually about 5 steps. And he said, I think it's the 5 whys. It's, okay, why is that an issue? Okay, and then it gets you to there. Okay, why is that an issue? And he keeps flipping up until maybe the core issue is, you know, we don't have enough cash flow, or it's the structure of something. That issue then becomes the root. And when you fix the root, everything else it's affecting goes to zero. It goes back to a clean slate. And that's how he was saying he was able to build this thing so big, is because a lot of that is decision making. Same thing with Jeff Bezos, literally trading every day like day one, and just the way he's able to find solutions and implement them and build a structure that continues to build up and up and up and up. Because, you know, it doesn't matter how high in the sky your skyscraper is, if the first 5 levels aren't set up very well, that thing's just, it's a time bomb before that thing's gonna fall. So yeah, so these were really, really powerful books for me. Highly recommend to anyone. Just reading in general. I'm trying to get back into it. I probably read, I don't know, 100, 150 books that one year. I got so much progress that year. That was probably one of my best years in terms of personal growth, financial growth, all these things. And then I kind of stopped because I got busy with all this other stuff. And yeah, highly recommend these 4 books. Let me know in the comments what you're reading right now. If you have any suggestions, I'm always looking for a new book to read. Getting back into it. I'm actually reading Game Changers by Dave Asprey right now. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Next few videos, I want to do a ClickFunnels tutorial, digital marketing, how to take an idea and turn it into a product or service that actually goes and makes money. I also want to do some talking on kind of drop shipping, Amazon FBA, e-commerce in general, social media marketing, all these kind of financial vehicles that we have access to right now, how to know what one fits you best, and then how to go about building that and all these things, because everyone always thinks you need to make $1 million right away sort of thing. But most people, if you're making $8,000 to $10,000 a month, and I realized this probably about last year, as soon as you get to that point, a lot of things don't matter as much, which I think is really, really powerful in a good way. Like, the difference between 8 to 10K is you're living a very, very good life at that level. Now, if you go and make 100K, chances are you're not just going to go and spend all that money. But if you're making 8 to 10K a month, that's a great place to be. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to start this channel, is because I always thought I wanted to make multi-millions a year before I got on YouTube and started to share. And then I realized if I was able to make 8 to 10K a month back in my earlier 20s, I'm 23 now, probably around 21, started doing this. Most people's lives would completely change if they were able to get there. So that's what gave me motivation to start this and wanting to share and hopefully give back and inspire at least one person, help you get the tools to actually make that a reality and all this stuff. So so looking forward to filming a lot more content, and thanks so much guys for watching this, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.